it doesn't work like that here.
The full satisfaction, because I like teaching.
Obviously, I had other dreams. That was why I did the change from Nigeria to the UK.
You need to think about new ways to top up your satisfaction. And I think that is one of my new ways doing these podcasts.
Why? Almost everyone is overly qualified. So,
yeah, that is a problem as well. Yes.
Yeah, it's like a battle of the best. That is what I would say. It was quite challenging. It still is challenging. There are a lot of tips though, but I'll end this one with saying, do not get advice from someone who is not living the life you want to live. Oh, they got the job. Wow. I went home with nothing. I'm the backbencher. So my first class, I sat at the back. But after that first day, after hearing the lecturer, I knew I was going to change my sitting position to the front.
Hello, everyone. Today we got a very beautiful guest, Miss Francisca Ossai. She is from Nigeria. So, Francisca, how are you today?
I'm very well, Mandy. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much for joining us today. And I believe your stories will definitely inspire our viewers. And I know there is a lot going on your side, and you are really eager to share your experience with our viewers. So today we are going to talk about basically your journey from Nigeria to UK so far, and what challenges did you get, and what tips do you have for the people who are coming to the UK. So please introduce yourself to our viewers.
Thank you very much. My name is Francisca. I'm a Nigerian. Prior to the UK, I was working in the banking sector. Also from the eastern part of Nigeria, the Igbo speaking part. We're known for being the most industrious. Let me brag a bit about that. So we usually have a saying like, if you go to a new place, you don't find anyone from the eastern part of the Nigeria. No, that place is not viable. So we pride on that a lot. Thank you. Coming to the UK, I've been able to complete my master's degree in procurement, logistics, supply chain management with a distinction from the University of Salford. So that's a bit of me. Thank you.
Congratulations. Okay, so when you was in Nigeria, what was you doing, Francisca?
Okay, when I was in Nigeria, I was working in a bank too, one of the top banks in Nigeria. I had over 10 years of experience there. I worked from being a customer service officer to a relationship manager to a chief marketing officer and procurement specialist just before I came here.
Oh, okay. And you mentioned that you was working in a bank too. That means you're working in a bank over here as well.
Yes. Coming to the UK too, I was lucky enough to get a position with a bank too, one of the top banks here. So I'm currently there at the moment.
And what you're doing in that bank now? What is your designation there?
Surprisingly, I'm a complaint handler.
Complaint handler. Okay. So it's very similar to what you was doing, the relationship and all that. So it's kind of associated with that.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Which is good that you have found. Do you always wanted to be in banking, or do you have some other dreams?
No, I definitely have other dreams. Obviously, I had other dreams. That was why I did the change from Nigeria to the UK. And coming here, it was like a different atmosphere. I just wanted to get a job, and the banking presented itself, and I took it.
Okay, yeah. That's good. So when you was in Nigeria, you mentioned that you work with a reputed bank there for almost 10 years.
Yeah.
So what was that trigger where you thought about, let's go to UK or some other country?
Yeah. You know this thing about Oliver Twist, you always want more. So, and there was something I got from a mentor when I started the job there with the bank. It was something she said. She said, when you stop getting satisfaction from a job, you should leave. So when I heard that, I was like, At first, I was like, no, that's just talks. And then along the line, I started experiencing dissatisfaction, and I knew, oh, I needed to make a switch. It became difficult to have the switch. It wasn't so easy like I thought. I tried to innovate myself, to invent myself, develop, but I still wasn't getting that satisfaction. And then I knew it was time to make the switch. It was time to make a change. It was quite challenging, taking the decision and all that. But then I realized at this age and time, I need to pick something I'm going to enjoy at the long run, not just having a switch. And procurement was it for me. And that's why I did the change. Coming to the UK, I'm still searching for the procurement job, obviously. But then I was happy I got the opportunity to start working with the company when I got here. So I took it, and I'm still with it for now.
Okay. So what was so because you wanted to add on, or you wanted to upskill, you wanted to innovate, you wanted to do something new, and that is why you thought about that you want to go to UK.
Yes.
So was it that is one very good thing you mentioned about your mentor, that if you are not happy in any kind of job, you need to move on and try to find where you are happy. And I believe that's what happened with me as well. I was when I came to UK, I luckily got a job in supply chain, and I did really well over there. And then I worked as consultant. But at the back of my mind, I always, there was some kind of unhappiness, because it's not the full satisfaction, because I like teaching. I like to be in the classroom. And that is what I did a long time ago when I was in India. I was training my junior staff in certain things like insurance and all that. So I really like that. But when I came here, I realized that, look, I wanted to go into teaching. And then I started doing PhD. So I wanted to upskill, because that is one of the route to get into the teaching stuff. I don't want to be a school teacher.
Yes.
Be a teacher in the university. Yes, but I'm fully satisfied now. But always, you need to think about new ways to top up your satisfaction. And I think that is one of my new ways doing these podcasts.
Okay.
Feeling satisfied that I'm helping people. I'm trying to help people with the views what other people are saying. So that is one thing, and understandable that you did the right thing. When you are not happy in one job, you should move on and try to do something better. So did you decide it UK only, or did you explore other countries like Canada, Australia, or another countries as well?
Funny enough, I wish I knew most of the things I know now then. I was familiar with Canada and the UK as options, though I had Australia in mind, but it looked so far away from everywhere but from home. So I took Canada and the UK close to heart. And then when I did studies, I realized migration to Canada was more cumbersome. It was tedious, time consuming, and all that. Required a whole lot of documents. And that of the UK was so easy. I got it within 2 weeks. So it made more sense to go with the easy thing for me because at that time, the hunger was, I wanted the satisfaction now. So I went with the easy route. And another thing, back home, we really pride certificates from the UK. I had one instance where I went for an interview with one of the top organizations in Nigeria then. And when we got there, we were all first class and 2 warrant holders. But someone came in and they were like, oh, who has a certificate, an international certificate? So I was wondering what that meant. And then the next thing they said, if you studied outside the country, UK, you can come out. And then 2 people came out. And guess what? They got the job. Wow. I went home with nothing. that was heart wrenching. It was painful. And then from then it started opening my eyes to see that, oh, they prided the certificates from the UK more. Even that of Canada wasn't really prided. Let me use that word so much. So it made sense to go the UK route. Then that
Okay.
was why I took it.
Okay, so you mentioned about that you explored about Canada and Australia, but because of the easiness of the process,
Yeah,
that is one of the reason you chosen UK.
true.
And also the other things were going on like jobs and all that. So you decided first it's near to home, the home country. It's much quicker to go back whenever you need to meet your families and all that.
Yeah.
I understand Australia and Canada is too far, way too far from here. It takes me. It looks like it takes ages to to
Yes.
reach there and come back. And if you are going for holidays for 2 weeks,
Mm,
out of 2 weeks, like 5 days are gone in flight,
yes.
kind of like that. Okay, so that is that. These are your reasons. Now,
Mm,
when you say that the process was easy and you got it within 2 weeks,
yeah.
how easy was that in comparison with Canada?
Okay, it's quite easy. Um, you require your documentation, obviously the transcript, your passport, your what else funds, even the proof of funds you need to show. It's quite yes, is you just requires 1 month proof of funds
Mhm.
on your financial statement to show that okay you have the funds to stay for the whole duration. That was fair. With Canada you need to show 6 months, up to 6 months proof. Right now I think they've cut it down to 3 months, but then you have to have those funds in your account for 6 months. So imagine having so much money in your account for 6 months and you can't touch that just because you need to prove something. So and then we didn't really have a lot of information. I didn't really have a lot of information like I have now. So Canada had this whole picture of they're so strict. It's one way. There's no way around it. In fact, I didn't know I could read so much. I could get so much information like I do now. So I think the lack of information too also made me move towards UK more.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in a way, you are saying that, for example, the funds you need to show about 6 months and all that. For
Yes.
UK, only 1 month. So
Yes.
which means like the UK process is way much easier. It
Mm.
puts very less pressure on the applicant that they need to show fund for 6 months and all that.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. In that case, it is quite easy. I would say, in terms of the degree program, the education.
Yeah.
You chosen procurement and supply chain because you was in the banking sector there and in doing procurement over there as well. So was it the reason to choose procurement, or did you apply for other courses or other universities as well before you came to?
Yes, I applied with 3 universities. I think Portsmouth, Birmingham, and then Salford. The same course, the same procurement. I just wanted to do procurement, supply chain, and logistics. Okay, with other schools, I think they had some just had logistics, some had procurement. But Salford had the whole three together: procurement, logistics, and supply chain. So it made more sense to me to have all three in one. So either way, I can go into the market and say, oh, I've got the procurement, I've got the logistics, I've got the supply chain aspect. So that was it for me.
Yeah. By the way, for somebody who's looking for procurement and supply chain or logistic course, let me tell you, they all three are part of supply chain in a way. But some people just target on some universities just target on logistics, some universities just target on procurement. Until unless you understand all three of them and how they link together, I don't say that it will be useful.
True.
You need to link it together.
Definitely.
If you change something in procurement, how that will impact on logistics side. Uh,
Good.
And that is why I think that course on University of Salford is quite good.
Yeah.
And of course, you passed it with the distinction as well. Congratulations again on that, which is really commendable.
Yeah.
So you got your visa and application, everything done within 2 to 3 weeks time.
Yeah.
Now you started packing for UK.
Oh my goodness.
Would you like to give some tips? What our viewers should pack before they come to UK?
Yes. Yes. Number one thing, if you decide to study in the UK, you need to prepare in time. Preparation is key. So I started quite early. I got ready like 6 months before my course start date. So I was super ready. One major thing is funds. So you need time. You can never have all the funds in one place. So you need time to gather the funds and all that. So it makes sense to plan ahead of time. I got my visa in time. I started planning. I was able to book for my flight in time. So I got cheaper rates. That made sense to me than it's more expensive when it's close to the day you want to travel. So if you have a long time span, then it makes sense. It will be cheaper for you, of course. Packing. I packed food. Please don't play with food. I knew I was going to a new place, on an unfamiliar place with no family there. I knew I might have issues with the food I might meet there. I already knew it was expensive, so it made sense. I knew I was going to convert currency. That's a whole lot. So I wasn't ready to go there and start spending. So I packed my food stuff. I'm like, if I have my food and I'm eating whatever it is that's happening ahead, I'll have the strength and energy to cope. So food stuff it's key. You don't really need much clothes, funny enough. In the UK, sorry to say, the UK is not so fashionable because of the weather. We're always putting on jackets and everything. So nobody really cares about what you're wearing so long as it's clean and smells nice. So don't focus on clothes. Food stuff, I'll say. Then if you can get gloves, hand gloves, head warmers, socks, a lot of socks, thick socks, that will help. That will help. I don't know how it is for some people. I came down with some medications. I knew because I had already read that you can't just go over the counter and purchase some drugs. So I understood there were some drugs I could maybe have issues getting. I read about them. I would need some special prescription and all that. So I got some of my medications with me. That was easy. What else? A few things, hair accessories. I knew it was going to be very expensive already. So for the ladies, you get your hair accessories. For the guys, you get your clippers. Then you don't need to pack much. For us, we had just 23 kg to pack. So I just packed the few necessary things I felt like, I might not see it over there. Just pack it. That's just it.
Yeah, absolutely. In terms of food items, everything is available in the UK. No need to pack any food items. Even it is not allowed to bring the food items from other countries. Most of the items, people still get it. But a small piece packed food is okay. But some people get meat and dried fish and all these. You will stuck at customs.
It depends on the items you bring. I brought some rare items and I don't regret them. Funny enough, they've been with me for over a year. Dry items, they are quite expensive here. They are really, really expensive here. I can't imagine buying them here. So the fresh ones, I don't need to get them. The dried ones, I did bring them. I don't regret them.
But there is another thing, people need to consider. Now, if let's suppose we have to think about the extra baggage amount we pay. So per kg, they charge normally £20 per kg. So if you are bringing 20 kg, 1 kg food from there, it will cost you an extra £20.
True.
Okay? So if the food costed you £5, on top of that £20, which is extra baggage, £25, you can easily, way much cheaper, get that food in the UK. You
True.
know, that is what we need to think about. There are some other things, for example, the hair accessories you talked about. Yes, these are lightweight items, but
Yeah,
at the same time, it's costly over here. So it's a good idea to bring it from there.
it is.
And some of the other items which you can do some research, what is available, what is not available. But
Mm.
most of the places in the UK, all the African stores or Asian stores or even the chain stores, you can easily find food from international countries like India, Pakistan. It's a similar food. Africa, we share the similar culture and the food as well. So it is available over here. So don't need to worry about it. It will be way much cheaper when you buy it from here. Think about the extra baggage rate.
No, just for the few weeks surviving, I remember you have to combat currencies. So the items you bring here sustain you till you get the job, and then you can transition quietly, seamlessly.
Yeah. Some people buy the pans, frying pans, and all that.
You don't need that, definitely.
You can easily get it over here.
Yeah.
I think your idea about buying gloves, thermals, and the innerwear,
Yeah.
even though you are coming in summer, it's a good idea to buy those from there. So you don't need to go around and to search for all these items like hats and all these. It is very important because when you come, even in summer, the temperature around here is about 20 degrees, and you will definitely feel cold in that temperature. So that will be a good idea to bring all those items. So better, especially when you are coming with kids. It is always good idea. Also, like Francisca said, people don't bother what you're wearing inside. We are not that fashionable. We
Yeah.
are fashionable in terms of jackets,
Yes, the
and
jacket.
but the thing is also the jackets you buy from your own country, they are
Then,
not going to be useful over here. So better you save some money over there and spend here
yeah.
on the good jackets.
Yeah.
And jacket range, if you want to know, like jacket range can start from £20 and it
Yeah.
can go way up to like 200, £300. It depends on yours. £20 jacket will do the same thing what £200 jacket will do. The brand name will be different.
Mm.
Okay, so these are some really good tips on what you need to pack. The people who are coming in September intake now or June intake, September intake 2024,
Mm.
they can use those tips. Now, so you did your packing and all that. Now, when did you came to UK?
I came in February 2023.
February 2023. So it's just 1 year and 2 months.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So was it your January intake or March intake?
Much intake.
March intake. So so March intake. So you came in February 2023.
Yeah.
Did you land at Manchester or Heathrow or any other airport?
I came straight to Manchester. I came exactly a month. I think everyone can come a month before their course start date. So I utilized that opportunity and I came exactly a month before my course start date. I landed in Manchester. I went straight to an Airbnb, already pre-booked it before coming. So I knew I didn't want to battle with accommodation and all that. So coming here, went straight to the Airbnb and settled in.
So first thing, what was your feeling when you came out of airport?
I was like, okay, dream, here we go. I'm like, it's time. The clock starts. The time starts now. So I knew every moment I had to make it count. And it was a breath of, when they say breath of fresh air. Yeah, it was really it for me. The air was so clean that I was so glad. It was cold, really cold. I came in and I'm like, okay, my life is restarting afresh. I pray it goes well. And then I was happy. I was really happy. I don't think I can really, really put into words what I experienced then.
Yeah. So was it a feeling of completion or feeling of meeting a milestone when you was at the airport?
Yes, of course, milestone. Funny enough, growing up back home, we record successes according to what each milestone you've achieved. So for me, coming down here, it was a great milestone. I just checked my box and I'm like, oh, tick, check. I've achieved something. Now it starts. I have to remind myself it's starting now.
Yeah, I know most of the people say that was a great feeling when they came out of the airport, when they actually landed, and that time it started. There is some confusion as well, what will happen at the immigration, and then when they came out of immigration, take their luggage and comes out of the airport, it's a very good feeling, a happy feeling. But at the same time, you back of the mind somewhere, the real challenge starts.
Reality.
The real challenge start now. You are on your own now. By the way, did you came on your own or did you got your family with you?
I came with my family.
You came with
So
your family.
big squad, yeah.
Okay. So you booked Airbnb before you came to UK.
Yes.
For how many days and how much that costed you?
Okay, I did book for 2 weeks.
Okay.
Wanted my first 2 weeks settled. It cost me £981 then. Yes. So, and before coming, I was already checking out accommodation. I knew some people were able to get, but I wasn't able to. So what I did was I booked for viewing, house viewing and time for dates immediately after I arrived. So when I came, I just went straight to the Airbnb and then I started going for my viewings. That was it for me.
Okay. So you said it costed you £981, £981 for 2 weeks,
Yes.
which is about £1,000.
Yes.
For the family of how many people?
Four.
Four. Okay.
Yes, it was a 2 bedroom. Yeah.
£250 per person for 2 weeks. So weekly is £125, which is I think it's not too bad. It's a good amount. Yeah.
It is.
Okay, and that was a one bedroom or two bedroom?
Two-bedroom. 2 bedroom. Yeah.
Two bedroom. Okay,
Yeah.
for £2 bedroom, £1,000 for 2 weeks. Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Now, how did you book Airbnb? Did you use any website or?
Yes, I did. I used the booking.com.
Okay.
So there you have opportunity to view different apartments, according to your budget, according to whatever requirements you're able to meet. So the options are always there. And right now, I think there are also better options too for students. If you belong to some student group, which I advise everyone should belong to, there are a lot of school groups. It helps. There are already house shares going on, because there are actually challenges with securing accommodation once you're new to the country. So these house shares will be very good for people, for students. So that's where you don't need to do the Airbnb. You can just go in and move in straight for you. It's easier, cheaper that way.
Yeah, but in that case, I would like to warn everybody that please make sure you do proper research before you agree to share somebody. Also, you need to make sure that you are not paying any deposit before you actually come here, because there is a lot of scams going on as well. So and the scammers are on those WhatsApp groups and the Facebook groups. So be careful with those type of groups. Many of the groups being created by the university, but sometimes scammers get access to those groups as well. So be really careful. Always ask somebody else that is it a legitimate person or not. Try not to pay any deposit until unless you are in that shared accommodation. Otherwise, if you are coming alone, there are accommodation available within the university, which is the university accommodation, but you have to book it well in advance. Otherwise, it will get full very quickly.
Sure.
Okay, so now you started looking for accommodation. You started viewing the properties around. First, how did you, what website did you use, or did you use any agent? And second, how easy was that process to get a house?
Well, getting a house is not easy. That's the truth, especially when you're a first timer. Because they want comfort. They want to be sure you pay your bills, your subsequent bills. They want to do checks on you and be sure they are taking in the right person because of legal reasons and all that. So it's quite challenging. And for a first timer, you hardly meet the criteria. They want you to provide a guarantor, and a guarantor has to be a UK citizen or a house owner. It's usually very challenging to get that, most especially when you have no one here. So another way, some are willing to bend for you, but then you should be willing to make at least 3 months payment upfront. If you have the funds for that 3 months payment, you won't need the guarantor and all that thing. It's an assurance that, oh, this person is staying, this person is capable of meeting their bills. You will get an accommodation. So plan for at least 3 months rent upfront and you'll be good. There are sites such as On the Market, Zoopla, Gumtree. You have houses there. There are other ones, I can't remember them at the moment, but there are a whole lot of them. You just search with the location you want to stay in and fill in the filters of how many bedroom you want, what kind of house you want. If you want to pay weekly or monthly, I advise you go for monthly. That way, because the weeks run very fast. So when you do the monthly thing, you can be rest assured that for 1 month, you don't need to bother about your rent. So those are the tips for getting a house, really. Then if depending on the distance, if you have friends here, they can always help you view. Because I tell you, it's really challenging because 1 minute a house is on the market, before you make your research, it's taken already. And it's best to speak directly with the landlords, because with the agents you have, I can tell you, one house, you might have over 20 people who have the funds to even pay up to 1 year rent, leaving you down the line. So, but with the landlord, he's able to decide immediately if he wants to take you in or not. So for On the Market, the landlord, you are able to speak with the landlord directly there. There's another one I can't remember at this moment. I'm so sorry. But then I think it's open market or so.
Open rent.
Open rent, thank you. The landlord is there directly. So you can always chat them up and they can decide for you immediately if they're taking you in or not. That one helps.
Yeah, it's always good to have a direct contact with the landlord, because in case of any issues or any problems, you can contact them. And Open Rent is a very good website where you can have a direct contact with them. Now, there are some, like the website you said, Zoopla. There is another one, Rightmove.
Yes, Rightmove.
Gumtree is there, but it's not that reliable, because anybody can go and put their listing on Gumtree. People can sell cars and people can sell other things, but unless you visit the property, you meet the landlord, don't pay anything. Other than that, the Zoopla, Rightmove, they are legitimate websites. Open Rent is again very legitimate website as well, which is good. But as Francisca said, it's not that easy. You need to look for a guarantor. You need to have proper documentation, and you might need to pay 3 months, 4 months, and sometimes 6 months upfront rent.
Yeah.
Which means that people need to have that much amount with them when they come to UK, especially with the family. Make sure you have enough finances available to support you, at least for the first few months, until unless you start working here, find a job and all that. So how long does it take to get a house for you? Like 1 month, 2 months? When did you get it?
For me, I got my house in 1 week. I paid 6 months. That was how I was able to get it. I did a 6-month rent. So I was able to beat the whole documentation thing, guarantor and all that. So I had to stay off my 1 week again in the Airbnb because there was no refund. So within 1 week, I was able to get. I was really thorough with it. I was really serious with the search. I was going everywhere.
I
So
think
you need
I
to,
think it's only because you pay 6 months upfront
yes,
on the rent. That is
yes,
why they might have given you priority.
yes,
Otherwise, it's really hard
it
to
is.
get an accommodation.
It is.
Really hard. Yeah. Okay. So you got the accommodation within 1 week. Did you had a guarantor as well, or did you knew anybody when you came to UK?
No, I aside friends, when I mean friends, I was in a group which was very helpful, the school group, fellow students there. So I was gaining experience from people's experiences too.
Okay.
So I was able to learn from mistakes. I was able to be prepared fully mentally and physically for the whole search and the whole journey. So paying for the when I came, I saw the house, went for the, okay, I actually saw one. When I wanted to pay for it, there was someone who was willing to pay 1 year rent. And so they took it. And then the one I later found was just an alternative because they were like, oh, this person's really willing to pay. And then they gave me that alternative. So I didn't get to, aside the regular checks, they couldn't do a check because I was new to the country too.
Yeah.
So there's nothing to check. So just my ID card, my visa, and the rest things. Those were the things that we checked, and then I moved into my house.
Yeah, yeah. So there is not much documentation required, and obviously they might have that deposit as a guarantee that at least for 6 months you have paid, and you will pay later on as well. So the person who can afford to pay 6 month rent upfront, they might pay later on as well, which means they have the finances available.
Yes.
So, was it again? How many bedrooms was that, and how much was the rent?
It was a 2 bedroom flat. It was 750 because I've changed houses now. Yeah, it was 750 at that time. It was quite small. But then I would advise you're coming in, you shouldn't focus. No, the houses were a culture shock to me. But if you're just coming in, what you need is a place to rest your head, really, while you do the hustle, because most of the time you won't spend it in the house. So don't really bother yourself about so much comfort, like where you're coming from at the initial stage. When you're settled, you can have all the time. You will have all the time to search for your comfort places.
Yeah.
So just get a place to lay your head and do all the things you need to do and start your studies. That's the most important thing.
Yes, it is. Yeah, because until unless you come to UK, you don't know how the houses are here. The houses are small, just because of the winter. So we need to keep the houses warm. So that is why the rooms are small. So a small heater can warm it up very quickly. But nowadays, because weather is changing, now they are constructing bigger houses like we have in our countries. Some of the houses now have balconies as well. As they have balconies, so you can have some time, good time, have an evening tea or whatever in the balcony. But most of the time, affordable houses are small.
Yeah.
If you want a bigger house, you might go for a luxury apartment, but the rent for that could be like 3,000, 4,000 pounds for a studio apartment, or maybe it's 1 bedroom in the city center. Those are available as well. It depends on if you can afford. Okay, so the house done. Now, within 1 week, you settled in. You started settling in your own apartment. Now, what about the university? When did you go to university? And what was your first experience in the university?
Okay, I think I turned in a week before my course start date for registration. So I went in. I got lost finding my way because of the whole Google Map thing. So that's another story. I got to the university. I sought for directions, and then I went to do my registration. It was so orderly. Jeez, it was so orderly. Knowing where I'm coming from, so it was a different experience. Within minutes, I was able to conclude my registration, got my ID card ready. So I did some exploration to look at the whole building and all that. Not really all, but just part of the buildings. And then I went home. When it was a week later, it was lecture day, and then came back for lectures. Entering the classroom, what I call the classroom, the hall. It was a different experience for me, knowing where I'm coming from. So it was so good. And then meeting diverse people. Wow. It was really interesting. So I was eager. I'm this social butterfly. I was eager to meet people, talk to people, make new friends and all that. I'm the backbencher. So my first class, I sat at the back. But after that first day, after hearing the lecturer, I knew I was going to change my sitting position to the front. I could not hear a thing. Now I realize the accents we hear in movies are entirely different from the real life. And then there are a whole lot of diverse cultures. So you need to be focused. You need to really pay attention. And then I moved to the front seat. And then I realized the lecturers were so friendly. And I realized, oh, I'm paying so much to be here. So I need to get what it's worth. When I can't understand the lecture, I call their attention, excuse me, I can't really hear you. And then they understood, and then they blended with us. So at the end, it was really, really good. That first week was really good for me.
So they were really cooperative with you,
yes.
Like for not just with you, but other students as well. If they don't understand, they explain it again. Okay, which is good thing. So the very first lecture, you didn't understand much. First, you were sitting at the back bench, and then you didn't understand the accent. Yes, absolutely. The accent, what you see, what you watch in the movies, is totally different, because that is for the international audience, not for the local audience.
True.
And those actors, they do dubbings and all that in the movies, so they know how to engage international audience. If you don't understand, you won't watch that movie. So that was your experience in the classroom. Did you know any people in the classroom that time, in the very first day, like prior to go to the classroom? Did you know any people?
I didn't know anybody. Nobody. Everybody was new to me. Okay. Everybody there. No, there was no familiar face in that room. So I just had to quickly engage and then blend in. There was no familiar face. There was no familiar face here.
So I think, Francisca, that is some kind of understanding with the people who are coming with the families, that they don't mingle with other people before they actually come down to UK. And I think that is kind of problem, because you think that we both are here with the kids, we will be busy, we will just handle everything because we got support of each other. But when you are alone, for example, in classroom or in the university or at job, that is that is challenging.
Yes.
So how did you started making friends in the classroom and in the university, and how long does it took to make some friends over there?
Okay, for me, it's different, probably because I came from the banking sector where I get to talk to people. So I can really engage an audience. I can meet you for the first time, assess you, and then talk to you. And it will look like we've been talking together for a very long time. So it came natural to me. I started with my seatmate. Funny enough, that was Femi. And we did our registration together, and we've been friends for like till now and going. So I was able to talk to other people too, in front of me, those behind me. I was engaging everyone. I realized a lot of people were skeptical. A lot of people wanted to really associate themselves, but they're like, oh, do it for us. I don't want to be the first person. There is nothing there. Studying in the UK, coming to an environment you know no one, you cannot do it alone. That's the truth. You can never do it alone, especially with the studies. Knowing fully where you've got a family with kids to take care of, you cannot do it alone. So you need the support from others. And the only way to get that is by engaging people, by talking to people, by reaching out. You're going to miss out on some things. How do you get that information? From the friends you make, from people attending the same class with you. So it's on you now to be able to identify the people who share the same dreams with you. There's one advice I usually give. I'm like, don't really engage people who don't want to live the life that you're aiming for. So you should be able to identify such people and then go to them and get them so that they push you and you push them. That is what you need to survive here.
Yeah.
If there's anything, you should remember the funds you spent coming down here. You should know why you are here. That is the thing that will keep you. So that's it.
Yeah. So unless you take the first step, you won't understand, are those people aligning with your dreams or not, So again, you have to take the first step, approach them and talk to them, which is important. So unless you approach like 10 people, you don't know those two people are really aligning with what I'm thinking. You won't be able to find it. Otherwise you approach them. So that is, now, how many friends do you have in the university?
So many friends, the class friends. I'm also a mentor, a student mentor. So I've mentored like 2 sets of students now and others. So I have about 42 students who I've had to meet too, and they've become my friends. And funny enough, they're bringing in more people for me to mentor, just like that, on their own, outside the school's plan. So making friends comes naturally. Like I said, I like to talk to people and all that. You should do that. It's therapeutic too. UK can be very lonely. You can I tell you, the first few months, like almost everybody goes into depression. And one of the ways to ease that out is to talk to people. That way you get to know, oh, this person is also experiencing it. If you don't have the friends, who are you going to talk to?
Yeah. I believe that would be easy for you because as you said, you had experience in customer relationship and all that, and you are a social butterfly by nature. Yeah. So that makes very easy for you to talk to people, and that's what your nature is, that you want to, you are extrovert all the time. Yeah. But the people who doesn't have that quality, who doesn't have the extrovert quality, then it could be really difficult for them. Yeah. Now you mentioned about loneliness. What is your experience? Like, you are mentoring a lot of students as well. What is your experience on that? Do you have any have you heard about somebody that being lonely, or you have any experience yourself?
Yes, I've had the experience myself, and then I've also had other people share their experience with me. I've had to mentor people who were really, really shy into themselves. They didn't want to talk and all that. And I realized I could help by engaging them, making sure they participated in whatever things I was doing. That brought them out. And at the end of the day, they enjoyed it. Loneliness is real. For me, it got so bad. I had the friends, but everyone gets so busy with life, chasing studies, chasing money, and then you don't get to see. So you need to be intentional about it, about the friendship, about reaching out. Otherwise, it's killing. I've been in buses and then I'll just start crying. That's when I start questioning my decision of coming to the UK, because for the first 4 months, I didn't get a job. So it was really depressing for me with the studies and all that. For you studying, you are going to have to reach somewhere. You're going to need someone's help. So the first step, if you're finding it difficult, is talking to the next person sitting close to you. That starts the conversation. Mm-hmm. And at the end, you might find that person becomes your friend for life, because you get to start keeping seats for each other. Those are the few steps. They get to tell you, oh, this is what's going on. This is what the lecturer said. You explain to each other. And then the friendship starts from there. So you need to take the step. You need to be intentional about it. That's it.
So I believe loneliness is a common thing in the UK, especially the students who are coming alone.
Mm.
Even though you had your own experience while you was with your partner
Yes.
and the kids,
Yeah.
you still had that experience because you comes to a totally new environment, and it
True.
takes like that is an overnight change. You was in your country within
Yeah.
12 hours, 14 hours, 15 hours, or 20 hours, or within 24 hours you are in the UK.
Mm.
Totally new environment, totally new people, totally new lifestyle, everything new, and you have to cope up with that. And
Mm.
first few weeks, it could be really pleasing that you are somewhere new. After that, when you started going to the university, you have pressure that your bank balance is burning
Mm.
now, and you need to have a job. At
Yeah.
that time, it could be really difficult.
Yeah.
It could be really difficult. So you have to mentally prepare before you actually come to the UK that this is the common thing.
Yeah.
The cure for that is talk to somebody, and there
True.
is a lot of help available, like Francisca is mentoring many people. We got a lot of support and she's mentoring in the university. There is a lot of other support available from the universities. Well-being, they have a well-being team, they have a team that they can take care of any questions you might have. They have several different teams, and even you can talk to any tutor as well, if you don't trust somebody, any of your friend, and everything will be confidential, if you're having any facing any problem. So which is good thing that the university provide all these things, and universities know that this is the common problem over here.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, when now tell us about your studies. How different was it? You had a big gap of studies in your country, like you said, you were working for 10 years in a bank. So I assume at least 10-year gap was there.
Yeah.
And you came to a new country where you couldn't understand the first lecture. Um, and now you have to write assignments over here. So what was challenging for you?
Ew. Coming here, first of all, to study, I felt like an old person because I'm like, wow, after so many years, now I'm coming here. The whole thing was different for me. First, it's been long years coming here. I did the whole manual type of lecturing then. Now coming here, it's all digital. Registration online, lectures online, book reading list online. So I decided it was a mindset thing for me. I had to do the paradigm shift for myself. And I'm like, I need to take it as an adventure and learn and adapt immediately. After all, we all say it in our CV, ability to adapt to situations. And I'm like, okay, this is the time to put it to use. So the classroom was different. I loved the ambience. So it was welcoming. The lecturers were welcoming. The atmosphere was friendly. It was warmth. There is warmth in everyone here, really. Really. Coming, I had a fear of racism and all that, but it's silent. It does exist, yes, I know, but it's silent. So there is warmth everywhere. So there is no reason why you shouldn't be comfortable. So I decided to tap into that. I started paying attention. I made sure I engaged fully in my studies, so it was seamless for me. Um, I was used to writing exams. You go read for the exam, and then you come back and pour it in. But coming here, I had to write reports, assessment. I had to change the whole way the whole things I knew. I had to unlearn things and learn new things. So I was writing reports. I was researching. I was reference. I used to think referencing was very easy, but coming here, my goodness. It was a whole new ball game. And then your videos were guides that I never knew. They never came to me before, where I knew if I needed help, I could go watch some videos and learn some tips. I never knew about those stuffs before. So coming here, the whole tools were available to me. If I forget something, I just go to YouTube or search and then get a tip and then come back. So studying was easy. studying can be easy, really, if you put your mind to it. That's what I say.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It could be easy, but you have to have some dedication about the study. The problem is that many of the students or many of the people who coming here as a student, their main focus is job, and they diverted the whole focus towards the job, and they don't study, and that is where they had problems later on. If they don't pass the modules, their visa might be revoked, and they might have to go back. They have to have a certain percentage in the modules, which is minimum 50%
Yeah.
pass. But I think the government was coming up with a rule as well that they need to have at least 60% or something. But we don't know yet. Don't take it as my words that it is applied. Now, one thing I would like to mention here, Francisca talked about the lectures were online. I would say some of the lectures are online, so don't take that. All the lectures are online here. Only a few lectures could be online, but it is always good based on your degree program. Always good to check the lectures are face to face or online. Now, you have mentioned about the challenges of citations and all that while you're studying. And you have also mentioned that when you talk to other people, the other students in the university, that could be really easy to understand how to write the assessment, all these. So, which is the networking, communicating with people. That is one of the important aspects.
Yeah, true.
Okay. So now let's talk about the job market. Now, when did you found your first job in the UK?
Oh my. Yeah, the first. Okay, I think I said, first of all, I started job hunting probably the second day I got into the country. So I did kickstart everything. I did not get a job until like the third month.
Okay.
It was crazy for me. The third month I was supposed to start, and then I think 2 days to my start date, I was informed that because of the visa restriction, I could not go ahead with it. The job was for 21 hours, and I've got, as a student, you've got the 20-hour restriction. And so I lost that. And I stayed home again for another 1 month before I got the current job. So it wasn't funny. Now, the good thing with time, I got to understand, I'm still understanding, I would say, the whole market, the whole job search thing. There are jobs here, really. There are jobs. Depends on what you want. There are jobs. There are some setbacks, yes, pertaining to visa restriction and all that. But then there are jobs, I will say. Getting them is the challenge. Why? Almost everyone is overly qualified. So,
yeah, that is a problem as well. Yes.
Yeah, it's like a battle of the best. That is what I would say. It was quite challenging. It still is challenging.
So what did you do when you came to know that you are overly qualified, or in terms of experience, that like 10-year experience you had, does it work in the UK?
It doesn't. It kind of, yes. No, funny enough, the UK focuses more on experience than your certificates. That is what I've come to notice. Back home, we prided the certificate, like I've said before. We are looking out for certificates back home. Over the UK here, what they need is experience. The fact that you can do this, prove to us that you've done it before. So you need to search for jobs that you probably have not done, but you're able to transfer the skills you've from your previous experiences into, and then you're able to prove that you can do it. That is more like the key here.
Yeah.
That's like the key here.
Yeah. So since you mentioned about the certificate, they are more looking for the experience here, which we can divide into two things. One is skills, which is certificate that proves that you have learned about this thing and you have those skills. But the second one is competencies, which means that you have real world experience and
Yeah.
you can use that experience over here as well to complete any task or activities you want to do, but you need a combination of both of them at the same time. So
Yeah.
skills and the competencies, both things. And obviously communication is a skill when you learn communication, and communication is a competency as well when you actually network with the people.
Cool.
So what were the challenges in finding a job for you? Like you said, you took like 3 months, and you was you using your Nigerian CV that time to find a job, or did you make changes to the CV, or what were the challenges?
Okay, I already knew I had to make some changes. I knew there was a CV for UK CV format, so I went into Indeed. I was making use of Indeed CV format. I was using CV library formats. I had to change my CV. One thing is you can never use one CV sample or CV template for all the job search you're looking for. No, you can. That never works. You need to reinvent your CV for each job role and all that. So for me, the challenges were the fact that I had no UK experience. That comes from almost every first timer. The fact that you had no experience here is it's a big challenge. Then the second part was the restriction thing. Since you've got 20 hours, most jobs, most recruiters are looking for someone who can do the full-time role. So it became it's an ongoing challenge. So, and I didn't really understand. So I was just applying everywhere. I'm like, okay, when I apply for the full time, they call me. I'll tell them, okay, I need the part time. It doesn't work that way here. Your students go for the part time. Keep your energy in that place. The part time roles. Now, something I'm still okay. Right now, I can work full time, so I've channeled my energy elsewhere. Now, for students, go for the part time. What kind of job? Since you're just coming in, normally I would advise, okay, go for any job so that you get something doing. But no, it doesn't really make sense in the long run. So channel your energy into something that you can do for a long time. The customer service jobs are there. They are the easiest. Those ones, those people there, they are willing to take first timers. You don't really need to have the UK experience. So go for those kind of jobs, the customer service jobs, the complaint handler, the call center agents. Go for those jobs. The support workers, there are some that are willing also to take first timers and then train you. Funny enough, everybody gets to train you, so you don't need to bother whether you donate or not. Just go for those ones there. Channel your energy there. For the guys, there are warehouse jobs. You can channel your energy there. They've got the security outfit jobs. Channel your energy there. It's a bit challenging to get professional jobs. I was doing that. I was aiming for the professional, but as a first timer, it's difficult. Don't even later on, when you've got UK experience, you can go that way. But for the first time, go into the other roles. That will help you.
Okay, so which means that the jobs are available in all sorts of industries. It depends on what you want to do, where you want to go. It is good that if you have some experience, for example, customer care experience back home, you can use that experience on your CV. That will add on some value if you are looking for a customer care job. But if you are looking for any other job which is not related with the customer care, most of the jobs are related with customer care. I won't say that, but I'm just giving an example. If it's not related, there is no point you are putting that into CV. That is not going to add value. So you mean the jobs are there. Some of the YouTube videos I have watched recently, people are saying even the title and even the picture of thumbnail, it says, "Don't come to UK. There is no jobs." How true is that? What do you think?
I can say confidently that it's not true. There are jobs. It's only that there are some challenges that or some restrictions that could impact you not getting those jobs. Like I've said, the student, you've got 20 hours, you could find the job you want, but it's a full-time job, so you can't really do that. Those are the little challenges. Then government policies and all that. But then the jobs are really there. And another good thing is recruiters always respond. They always respond. Even though you might get the notorious, unfortunately, you will get a response and it keeps you going. You will always get a response. That is the good thing here. So you have to keep trying. You have to keep applying. There are jobs in the UK.
Yeah. So what could be the problem? The people, even the students on those videos, they are saying that there are no jobs, don't come here. Do you think that there might be something, maybe they don't have the skills, they don't have the competencies, or they didn't try to understand, or they didn't understand the market here? What do you think? Because you mentor a lot of students. Do you had some experience in that side, that maybe these could be the challenge, these could be the problems, what they don't understand properly?
Yeah, understanding is one thing. Everyone comes in with an expectation. So when you get here, you have so many dreams like, oh, the moment I come here, I just do an application and I'll get a job, or I walk to an office and I get the job. No, it doesn't work like that here. They dwell more on CV applications, and that's why I think they're bound by law something to respond to you. So another thing, you need to have an open mind. If you have a closed mind, it never works. If you come here thinking, oh, I'm a procurement specialist, I was a procurement specialist back home, and coming here, I must get a job in the procurement specialist. That's a closed mindset.
Yeah.
And if you start channeling your energy into getting a procurement job and it doesn't come, then you go with the mindset, oh, there are no jobs in the UK. No, have an open mind. There are even other jobs roles that pays more than the job role you think you're so much interested in. You can imagine me, the procurement specialist, doing the complaint handling job. I have compared it with the salary of some of the procurement job. My job is paying higher than that at the moment. So will I want to go to the procurement specialist? So that's it, having an open mindset. Then reading, you need to read, you need to learn from people. That's why I said networking comes into. You need to talk to people. You need to know what's happening. There are jobs in the UK, truth be told. I have friends who have gone to Canada. They've stayed there. They had jobs here. They've gone there. They've stayed for months without jobs. And they are complaining. They're like, no, now I understand. The UK has more jobs, funny enough.
Okay.
The market is saturated, yes, but the jobs are also there.
So UK has more jobs.
Yes.
I think so far, I have recorded podcasts with like 10 or 15 people, and all of them saying that the jobs are there. It is up to you, that you need to learn how to target those jobs. You need to learn how the UK market works. And to learn that, it might take some time, like 3 months, 4 months. And then you need to give that buffer that, okay, for 3-4 months, I might not get something. Is sometime for the people who have already done good research in the back home, they get job within 10 days, 25 days. And there has been many people which I know, and they got really good jobs within 1 month after coming to UK. They got the jobs very quickly because they altered their CV when they were in their countries. They don't want to spend that time over here. They don't want to waste that time to alter the CV and all these. They have gone through the website and they have done their research, what type of jobs are available, what they're asking for. Now, you mentioned about procurement specialist. Many people put that on their LinkedIn as well, I'm specialist. Now, how can somebody be a specialist on procurement? Like you have maybe 2 year, 3 year experience on
Mm,
procurement in a specific industry. Okay.
mm.
And you say that you are a specialist. That means with that experience, you know
Everything.
everything about procurement. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even the top-notch professors in procurement, they don't call themselves a specialist. So that is one of the biggest mistake people are doing. And when the CV goes to somebody, they say, no, don't
You can
shortlist me.
do
Okay, so job market. Now, you said the jobs are there and it's better than Canada. That's what you think based on your experience, which your friend is there and they told you.
it.
You came with your kids,
Yeah.
your family here. Let's talk about schools and admission. Do they go to school?
Yeah, they go to school.
Okay. So how easy was it to get them to a school? And would you like to tell the process in a very quickly?
I don't know why I got the top side of life, maybe. That toughened me up a bit. My kids didn't go to school for 3 months when they got here. It was difficult getting vacancy for them, really. When they came, so probably that contributed to me not getting a job in time because I couldn't leave them to go for interviews too. It was difficult.
That's why I asked this question because I knew that is a contributing factor.
Yes, it is. It does contribute a lot. Seriously. Okay, this in the UK when you come here, wherever you stay, the kids have to go to school close to that to where you stay, where you reside. That's it here. So when I applied, they were all filled up, no spaces, nobody was leaving, and it was more like a bad time, I would say, because I get or I yes I get to understand now because I'm still understanding things that especially when it's peak time when people are coming into the country, like the June said, people, let's say they're coming with families, you come in with family, that's a peak time, everybody wants to put their kid in school, so it's difficult that period to get a space for them, and that's why I didn't get a space for them for 3 good months. At the time the council became disturbed and they started following up themselves with me, so later, I think some people left and then they made provisions and then I put my kids in school. Right now, they attend different schools because of that singular challenge we had initially. So when you come, you register, you get an accommodation. You have to get an accommodation first and then you register with the council. When you register with the council, you go apply for admission with the schools. You have options of, I think, three schools, yes, per child's application. So you put in the 3 nearest schools to you. It makes more sense that way especially if you have multiple kids. And make sure you do the same schools for each child. And then they tend to look at putting all siblings in one school, except exceptional cases where they don't have the vacancy for each year group. So when I put in the application for my kids, the same schools, there was space for one child in one school and in another school for the other child. So that's how I ended up having both of them in different schools. So it's quite challenging because I have to be with them at their ages in the school till the school is open and they are received. I have to be there at the same time to pick them up. You don't want to hear that part of the story. It is challenging, really.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any tip on how to fasten it. I don't really think so because I've gone physically to the council to plead my case and all that. It's a thing of luck. It's a thing of luck, I'll say.
Okay. Now, since both the kids are in different schools, I believe that is challenging as well because in the morning when you have to do the school run and in afternoon as well, you have to go to places. And if the timing is same, that obviously you can't be at 2 places. So it's difficult.
Yeah.
For that, if the other viewers have the similar situation, my tip is talk to the council again, talk to the school now,
Mm.
whichever school is better, and ask them to give admission to this other sibling. So the school will understand the situation, and they normally do that. But you have to go and talk to people. Uh,
Mm.
you have to go and talk to them if you think that is relevant, because they understand it. Now, some of the school, sometimes it takes 3 months, sometimes it's very quick as well. It
Yeah.
depends on your intake when you are coming to the country, because
Mm.
school's intake is September.
Yeah.
And if you are coming just before September, for example, June intake, or just before September intake, then it might be much quicker, because that time admissions are going on. But if you
Mm.
are coming in January and March intake, that is in the middle of school term.
And
And
and it takes them 20 school days to give you a response.
yeah,
There was no rush. So they must respond in 20 days.
other option is daycare. If your kid is not getting the school, I would like you to tell about it, please.
The daycare is expensive, and there are certain ages you can't even do that. It's expensive. It's really expensive. So there are other options. You could get a child minder. For someone just coming in, you obviously don't know people. So you go to each council has a directory. For Salford Council has a Salford Council city directory. I read about it, so I registered with them, and there you get to see qualified and registered childminders, and then you can engage them according to their prices, and they can help you do pickups, maybe hold the kids for you. You go do something and come back. Then maybe when they get into school, for like me now with two kids in two different schools, you get to make use of breakfast clubs
Yeah.
for some schools. So that way you're able to drop one child very early or the other child very early, and then you can attend classes in time. So it's going to cost you a bit, but then you have to do that. It's,
In some school, breakfast club is free,
yeah.
and but the after school club, which is up till 5 o'clock, sometime 4:30. Some school 4:30, some school 5 o'clock. That is paid, I believe, in many of the schools. Depends on council to council, schools to school. So the options are available. So breakfast club start around 7:30.
7:15 for some.
7:15, and the after school club, which is up till 5 o'clock. So
Yeah.
if you are working, you can drop the kid 7:15 and then pick them if you have lecture at 9 o'clock,
Mm.
which is again a cheaper option. But if it's school, that time daycare could be really expensive. Do you have any idea how much does that cost, daycare,
Yes, a minimum £7
per
per,
hour?
per hour. The minimum, that's a good rate.
Minimum
That's
seven
very,
pound per hour.
yes, around here in M6.
And imagine if you have to pay for like 5 hours every
Per
day
child. Per child.
per child. Yeah,
So it's a lot.
per child. Yeah, yes. So it is really costly. I've got a friend. His daughter is not the school age yet, and she goes to daycare, and the monthly bill is about £1,500.
How
She
much are
goes
you paying?
because they both work, they both are in good jobs, they can afford, but not
Okay.
everybody can afford £1,500. On top of that, if somebody is renting, then they have to pay the
Mm.
rent as well. Then obviously the other expenses, you got kids and all, even the school fees. You don't have school fees, but
Mm.
sometimes you need to pay for the lunch in the school.
Mm.
Or if you do the packed lunch, then again that is an expense.
It's a lot.
um, Okay. Now you're working with a bank. Is your partner working as well?
Yes.
Okay, so you're both working. You got a two-bedroom apartment. Is it two-bedroom again, or
It's more like a three-bedroom right now. I've got an extra space I can convert to three-bedroom. Yeah.
okay? So I would like to ask you if you can give some idea to our audience about how easy is here to survive if both people are working with the kids like you. How easy is to earn and survive in UK climate. I mean, you both are earning. If your partner working and you working, you both are earning, paying rent and other expenses.
It's I feel for the single people, really. Yes, especially when you're studying and you probably you didn't pay your school fees completely before coming. It's challenging. If you think, oh, you come down here to work and pay your school fees, you will struggle. That's the truth. If you're lucky to earn above 1,000 naira, I'm using Salford now, for example, 1,000 pounds, sorry. And you get to pay, let's say you're paying the 900 pounds instrumental. It means you're left with just £100. How do you survive with that? Meeting your bills, rent, light bills, utility bills, and feeding. It's a challenge. So that's why the couples have the advantage. Coming with a partner, there's an advantage there. So one person is probably paying the bills and you're surviving on the other funds from the other person. So it makes sense that way. With the kids, it's challenging too because childcare is not easy, especially when you don't have anyone to look after the kids like we do back home where you've got family and all that thing. So it's better because one, you can always compromise, make sacrifices. One person stays back to watch the kid and all that. You can always walk around it that way. Another good thing is, that's why I said networking. There is a power in it. When you have friends, trusted friends, you can always do the exchange thing. When I'm free today, I take over your kids and all that, and tomorrow it's your turn. Or we do the child minding thing together with someone who is trusted, and someone can help you do pickups when you're running late. It helps too, because it was a battle for me when I had to go for my 9 o'clock lectures, and the school open time is 8:45, and the distance from my house to school was another challenge, and my partner had to go to work before that time. You don't want to know that story. So the friends I made really were the ones that helped me. Really, most of the times, especially with the 9 o'clock lectures I can miss, or interviews by 9 o'clock, someone helps out with the kids and all that. So that's why I said the power of networking is key. Power of having a partner and your family is key. I also sometimes advise people, if you can come here alone first without the kids, settle down, get everything in place, and then the kids arrive. It makes sense. It depends on your resilience, your power. If you're not capable of taking in that much stress at one go, then take it easy. Come in, settle before you bring the family in. It's okay that way too.
Okay, yeah, that's good. I would say that's a really good advice, that survival for a family, both people are working, that is possible, but it's really challenging for somebody who is coming as an individual. They need to pay the fees, and they need to pay the bills, and they need to survive as well. Now, I would like to ask you one thing. People back home, they normally think that we are growing money on plants here. Even though both people are working.
Yeah.
What do you say about that?
Please, there is no money growing on the tree here. If I knew the tree, I would have grabbed it. But then there are opportunities to make money. I still don't regret my decision coming here. I had the fear of unknown, starting all over thing and all that. I don't regret the decision I took. I probably would have changed location, yes, but coming here, I don't regret it. The opportunities are there. Depending on your strength and your capability, you can earn more than what you were earning back home. Now, the good thing here is you get paid for each time you spend. You get your time is of great value here. You are rewarded for it. You can see the reward. You can feel it. Those saying we usually hear that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. It happens here. It's just a matter of time. What do I need to do to get there, to see that light? There is always a light here. The money is always there for you to get. So just find ways to get it faster or whatever.
Yeah, that is an excellent example. That light end of the tunnel, you just need to think about a strategy. How can you make it faster to get to the light? And think about, if you know that what challenges you are going to face, then it could be much easy for you. Okay, so as you said, that there are a lot of jobs available, there are opportunities available. You just need to figure out how to do things over here. Now, any tips, final tips you want to give it to our audience? Like number one, this, number two, like in bullet points, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Any tips you have for our audience?
Yes. One, be prepared. You need to be super prepared. By prepared, I mean have plan A, B, C, D, E, or up to Z. The government policy is always changing here. The policies I met when I came are not the same. They've changed it probably up to 6 times now. What keeps me going is being prepared, having plans, and knowing that this is what I'll do if this should happen. More like, funny enough, you can't even be ahead of the government here, but then you can be in power with them and make changes that will suit you, that will be okay for you. So preparedness is key. Be focused. You're coming here to study. Study is key. If you don't study, if you don't pass, your visa gets revoked, you're going back home. Everything you've spent is going to be lost. That is the truth. So you need to focus. You need to be able to know that this is the time for studying. This is the time for making money. You need to prioritize things. You need to be organized. You need to make money. Money is key. You need to make money because it's the money. Money is the reason why you came here. If you're going to pay bills, you need the money. If you're going to be happy really in this place, you need the money. So while making the money, remember your health. It's key. People collapse every day. People die every day because they get overworked. Know when your body is saying, I need a break. Know that. Asking for help is another tip. Ask for help. The least you can get is a no. And if there's anything I've learned in the UK is when they tell me no, it means keep asking. You are going to get a lot of no's in this place. If you think you were getting no's where you're coming from, lie. This is the real no, especially with the unfortunately. What keeps you going? Let that unfortunately become a fortunately. So keep going. Keep going. That is the key. Another tip, there are a lot of tips though, but I'll end this one with saying, do not get advice from someone who is not living the life you want to live. Really, it makes no sense. So get everything in place. This is a good place to study. This is a good place to stay after studying. Be focused, ask for help. Thank you.
Thank you, Francisca. Very good advice. I believe you have covered almost everything. These are the same themes coming out from our other podcast as well. But you have some really good things, like keep doing it, keep going. The challenges will be there, but end of the day, end of the tunnel, you will see the light as well. There are opportunities available in the UK. Don't bother about those negative videos, negative people. If you want to live a life, and don't take advice from other person, like Francisca said. So same thing. If you don't want to live that life, if you don't want to live a life like people are not getting job, don't even listen to them. More negativity you attract, you will become bringing negativity in your life, which is not good. One thing is for sure, don't assume that you are going to live a luxury life in the UK. If you are earning £1,000 in your country per month, you can live a luxury life over there. But over here, it is just a survival. So keep that into your mind as well. So, Francisca, thank you very much for being with us today. It
Thanks.
was really nice to hear your story and getting advice from you. And I'm sure it will be very useful for our audience um, if they watch this video until the end.
I hope they do.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. They will. We are getting very good response from in international market. People from not just Asian but Nigeria, African countries, and
They-
Middle East as well. Even though from Canada. So thank you very much for being with us. I will definitely invite you again when we have a specific topic. For example, the family life.
Yeah.
And you can. I would like you to share your views at that time with our audience. So thank you very much again
Thank you.
for being with us. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.